Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tally Book Troubleshooting. I'm your host, Keith Stelter, trying to bring you a little positive PR in the oil industry, a little bit of education along the way. If you would have told me 3 years ago I'd be doing internet videos as a grown adult man with a family, I would have just laughed at you. As always, coming to you from the heart of the Permian Basin, Odessa, Texas, and Tally Book Troubleshooting brought to you by Arc Energy. We process your energy. Arc Energy. Guy's been great to me. Spent my entire... No, we don't have a shirt for you. Do you want a shirt?
No, that's working. Just thought I had to, represent the company.
Well, you are representing the company.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know what I mean?
Definitely not. It's process equipment. We build vessels. We're buying equipment right now. So reach out to me if you have any process equipment, vessels, slug catchers, you name it. And pretty special guest here. One of the... Well, you know what? I've had my wife on, so she'd probably be number one. And, well, I had Janie Snelson on, so she might be number two. I guess I'd have to give her her due. But third place is not too bad, Dad, is it? Everybody, this is my father, Craig Stelter, all the way down from, Andrew, Alberta, Canada. So that's northeast of Edmonton, correct?
There you go, northeast of the Oilers, you betcha.
And he's down here visiting the family right now. And I just wanted to get him on the show to show... Basically, where a lot of my original posts and stories came from was you tell a story to somebody who's been in the oil field and they go, oh yeah, you think that's good? Here's one that's even better, right? And my dad, as the weekend went on here together, definitely this is where that storytelling ability came from, because...
Well, thank you.
You definitely have a few stories from what... You were going up a hill with a load once, right?
Oh, well, let's give them some geography here. We've trucked to support our grain farm for years, but we started in the 70s in Inuvik, Tuktoyaktuk, way up on the Beaufort Sea, and then later hauled gravel to build islands for oil rigs in the Beaufort Sea, which is pretty far north. And then we moved rigs all over BC, Alberta, and moving rigs usually is majority of the time in the winter time. Things are frozen. You can get around. There's lots of muskeg and soft ground in the summertime, so it makes it a little harder to do.
And in this particular instance, you didn't decide you needed to chain up. That wasn't for you.
Oh, in this particular story you want to hear about? Yeah, well, Mr. Smarty Pants, of course, is leading the charge, and we were just having to move in the camp for the oil rig, and so I was lucky enough, got a jam load that morning. I had the camp support on the back of the highboy, which is a couple of propane tanks, some matting, a couple of outhouses, really jammy, light piece of cake.
Nothing serious.
That's right. And I got ahead of the crew, and there's a big hill that I we can make this thing right. Oopsie, we're halfway up this thing and we wipe our feet, and and it's
he spins out. That's what he means.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay,
don't worry about it. That's my job to take
anyway. It's warm enough that, and I'd been taught, you stuff this thing in reverse and you can hold yourself and back down the hill straight. Well, this isn't working very good. Okay, we're starting to slither. The next plan of attack would be jackknife yourself in the ditch as quick as you can. I mean, better to hit the rhubarb at 5 miles an hour than 50, right? Well, the ditch isn't that bad, and the trailer goes in the rhubarb, and everybody's happy, and the front of the truck slides around on the ice, and now we're kind of headed
the right direction.
About 45 degrees downhill. Well, we got enough momentum. We're on the ball. We're all cross-threaded now anyway, so let's stuff this thing in gear and stand on it. Well, heaven to Betsy, this thing came out of the rhubarb, and like we're headed down the hill. Wow, everything's rubber side down. We're looking good. Here at the bottom of the hill, the crew has caught up to me, and they're all parked.
Putting their chains on.
So I pull up to the first truck, and the boss is there, and, Greg, what are you doing here? Well, I don't know, I kind of got lost. I drove up the big hill and drove for a couple miles, couldn't find the lease road, so I turned around and I come back. Got to find out, I guess I must have taken the wrong turn, and just the bullshit was getting pretty thick by this time, and kind of buffaloed them enough to believe that actually happened. Meantime, the sweat's running down the side of your face because you darn near tipped the whole thing upside down. And
Were they ever anybody notice all the mess in the
no, I
ditch on
told
the way?
Paul, my buddy, later how stupid I was, but he just grinned, and I got turned around, and boy, we put our chains on, and we're all happy after that.
So, from those kind of stories, from driving out on the Arctic Ocean to
Ooh,
unloading,
that was different.
ships to polar bear attacks to you did ice road truckers as well,
We did
correct?
3 winters on the ice road.
Hauling fuel to where?
We hauled it from Yellowknife all the way up about 600 kilometers north to Lupin Mines. In the old days, that was all that was there, was a gold mine. And this thing was way underground, so you had to haul this fuel, from like Valentine's Day, February, till, say, the middle of March.
Is it exactly like it is on TV? You gotta go slow,
pretty
people going
much,
through the ice,
yeah, it
and you
depended
gotta
on
watch
the-
your weight. And
Well, you drive on a lake for 40 kilometers, then you'll drive over a portage. You might be on the land, that might be 200 yards, it might be 5 miles. Now we're back on the lake. As you get on the lake, especially coming off the lake, you create a wave underneath the ice.
if that wave gets too big, it
If you
destroys the
get
ice,
going
correct?
too fast, you have now got ahead of your wave. Well, now there's nothing to support the ice. And either the ice is going to start to break up, or in an extreme situation, you'll just do a nosedive into the ice. Like there's not enough support for it there. Also, when you're coming off the lake onto the portage, you're pushing a wave. Well, when it gets to the
Sure.
shore, there's no place for the water to go. So if you're going 30 miles an hour, you're pushing this big wave. That ice will literally explode in front of you because there's no place for it to go. So hence, there's a big sign, slow down, be nice, da-da-da-da. But
And they're timing you from place to place to make sure
well,
you're doing
that's
that,
right. And if you show up with dispatch, half an hour too soon, that's automatically
You
you
were
were
speeding.
speeding. Well, then you get reprimanded. You get whatever they could do to make life miserable for you.
So a lot of my exposure to the oil field came from, what you did. You were hauling rigs and coming back to the farm, switching out winch lines and stuff like that.
That's
So
right.
growing up in Alberta, I grew up on a farm, and there's plenty of farm stories from underwater tractors to, we could tell that one, or that's a little bit too long, or, cutting down trees that are going to fall down on a barn and make sure they don't, and then
do
make sure that
everything
it
wrong.
did.
Yeah,
make
we
sure
did
that it did
everything
go
wrong,
through
and
the-
then the tree fell on the barn anyway. But whatever, we thought we had it all together. We, forgot a few steps, like put some tire chains on the truck so you don't spin out on the ice when
Maybe
you're
if
pulling
we
the
would have
tree.
did it in summertime versus springtime,
Would have been
it
a
wouldn't have
whole
been
lot different ball game. Yeah,
Would've
you
been a
betcha.
little bit
That,
warmer.
that would have made a difference for sure.
And a lot of my problem solving skills came from working with this man to just keep my hands and feet around.
Well, one of
sometimes
two things
because-
was wrong. Either we couldn't afford to fix something properly, or you were out on the farm and it was too much trouble or time or money to get to wherever to get the right bearing or the right whatever. And so you learn pretty quick how to improvise and make things happen, or weld it on there crooked until somebody smart could come along and do the proper job. But we got through the door, and we moved. We started out with a couple of quarters of land, and by 2005 we were up to 4,000 acres and 3 hired men, and this was a big commotion. And I don't know, I just loved it. I just loved the whole thing. I could never get enough of it. I mean, I'm sitting here at 70 some years old scrolling tractors on my granddaughter's iPad that she's watching the Snow Queen with, and well, can we get maybe we can find something for sale here and make a deal, eh? And then there's the exchange.
It's in your blood. It's in your blood.
That's right.
Definitely,
And
for
then
sure.
there's, well, how are we going to truck this thing from Lubbock, Texas, all the way to Alberta? That's another problem.
But in the end, if you want to do it, it'll
Oh
get
no,
done,
you'll
so.
find a home. You'll figure out a way. Just like Keith needs these big compressors. Well, these are huge things, eh? But I got a buddy back home, so I text him right away. Maybe we can find a couple of these things. Well, they're only $3 million used, and they're just not laying around in the parking lot.
Definitely not. Thank you, Dad, for doing this. I really appreciate everybody out there. My dad, I can't believe it. I got him on the show, got him talking. You can see he's very well spoken. That's kind of apple isn't far too far from the tree. Until next time, everybody, that's how you troubleshoot.